Welcome to our ReadSpeaker demo webinar. This webinar is going to be around 15 to 20 minutes long, and it's about how our online text-to-speech services work on educational platforms. My name is Roy Lindemann. I'm ReadSpeaker CIO, and joining me today is Tim Lovelace, who's our Business Development Director for the Educational Publishing segment. Hello, Tim. How are you?
I'm doing great. Looking forward to our conversation today.
Great. Well, this webinar is going to be divided into three parts. Very short introduction about what is ReadSpeaker. Then I'll follow up with why does bimodal presentation help learners, and the main part is actually going to be about how ReadSpeaker works on some of our live education customers, such as Discover Education, EBSCO, Gale Cengage, SoftChalk, Cicero Kids. So let's start off with ReadSpeaker. Well, in a nutshell, in one phrase, ReadSpeaker enables your learners to listen to any online text, online courses that matter to them, anytime and anywhere. Um, Many different types of users benefit from adding speech to online text content. Well, obviously today we're going to talk about learners, but it's not only for learners, it's also for users who suffer from illiteracy, from reading problems, from dyslexia, from low vision, senior citizens, foreign-born, multitask or mobile users. And amongst these different users, obviously, some of them are also learners. So the scope and the width of the users here is very important. In a nutshell, well, we, to our knowledge, were the first to apply text-to-speech to online content, and that was back in 1999 in Sweden. And we are today worldwide leaders in this space. We speech enable many different types of web properties, such as websites, mobile websites, blogs, but also mobile applications. From the start, we've been software as a service, and we have worldwide coverage with presence in 40 countries and over 5,000 customers. The key features of ReadSpeaker are that we read many different types of online content. So this can be static or dynamic content, both on web pages and mobile applications, but also on online documents and online forms. We're available anytime and anywhere in many different languages, as you can see here, and many different voices. And very important feature of ReadSpeaker is that we work on all devices and browsers. A question we often get asked is if this works with recordings. No, we don't record anything. This is instant audio. We speech enable your learning content on the fly, and our service is web-based and hosted in our cloud on our servers. We can also personalize the service in the different dimensions. So we have dedicated implementation support, but also linguistic and development support. So for example, for specific words, acronyms, abbreviations, our linguistic team can help you in terms of the pronunciation. And since we are a software as a service model, we mutualize the costs, and so we have a very cost-effective model for you. ReadSpeaker uses the latest web standards, so HTML5 and CSS, and we don't need Flash in modern browsers. Obviously, we have fallback behavior, so we also work with Flash, of course, but in terms of the devices that ReadSpeaker can work on today, well, it's computers, but also tablets and smartphones, such as iOS and Android devices that don't have Flash. ReadSpeaker works perfectly well because we have been developed in HTML5 and CSS. It's very easy to implement ReadSpeaker, and that's something that we are really recognized for by our customers. You just need to add a bit of code, define the reading area, and you're off. Once you've done that, your job is done, and you have a speaking version of your online courses. Now over to the benefits of bimodal presentation. First of all, a quick definition of what is bimodal presentation. Well, it's information that is presented in both audio and visual formats at the same time. And here you can see below a screenshot of our audio player, and at the same time the text being highlighted in two different colors. So that's exactly what we do. We are at the heart of bimodal presentation. And academic research over the past years has shown the reasons for why this really benefits your learners. It benefits learners because it improves their word recognition skills and vocabulary. Another aspect that has been a lot of research has been done in terms of bimodal presentation is it's really been proven that it helps reading comprehension, the fluency of the reading, the accuracy, and also the concentration that goes along with it. It also helps in terms of memory enhancement. It's been proven again by many different studies in the academic world that bimodal presentation helps in terms of better information recall and memory enhancement. And this leads to overall for learners better motivation and much better attitude with regard to reading because it really facilitates the learning experience. And as a subset of that, learners are just basically have more self-confidence and the perceived performance increases. So for these different types of reasons, which again have really been researched by the academic world, bimodal presentation is a very, very important way of communicating educational content. So I'm going to switch over the screen over to Tim, and he's going to show you how ReadSpeaker works live on these different types of customers we have in the educational space. So let me just hand over to Tim. Tim, I'm going to share your screen. Okay, Tim, so now
Great.
it's over to you.
All right, so it looks like we're sharing. Thank you so much, Roy, for that introduction, and I think it really sets the stage for what we at ReadSpeaker are trying to do. One thing I would like to point out, and I think Roy did a great job in showing the benefits of it, is that once ReadSpeaker is implemented, we have a great deal of usage from the use of ReadSpeaker. The group of customers that I'm going to go over today represent some of the top publishers in the United States and around the world. And in aggregate, those publishers are probably experiencing over a million hits a month using the ReadSpeaker service. And at certain points in times, we're probably around 2 million to 2.5 million activations of the ReadSpeaker service a month. So we know that from an academic standpoint, that students are benefiting greatly from the use of the service, but equally we know that students, once this service is implemented, are actually executing and using the service, which I think is equally important. As I walk through these couple of implementations that we've like to show you today, one of the other things that's very important is how ReadSpeaker can be designed to meet the needs of your implementation and your environment. Not all environments are the same. And we at ReadSpeaker have worked very hard to make sure that, number one, as Roy pointed out, that it's very easy to implement, but number two, that it can meet the needs of how you want it to fit into your user experience and environment. So here we have what we have on the screen right now is the Discovery Education, their tech book product, which is a product focused on K through 8 users. They've already been implemented or have been selected as textbooks in states such as Florida and Texas, and have had a very great response to being an online tool. What the folks at Discovery have decided to do, instead of just sitting a little listen button here, they have lots of different features that they allow their students to use. So here you're seeing they're telling students, hey, if you do this, you'll be able to listen to the content. If I copy the content like this or select it, you'll see that a little, sorry about that, you'll see that a little button pops up and it allows me to speak that content. My goal here is not to focus on the quality of our voices, because we do have high quality voices, but just to show you how things can be implemented. If I click listen, you'll see that they have the listen player popping up at
Content
the bottom.
review, rocks. Dear parent guardian, your child is learning about rocks. He or she is learning what rocks are and how some rocks.
And so that one of the big features here that you'll notice, the student is selecting exactly what they want to listen to. If we had more time, I would go and show you how we voice enabled this content in both French and Spanish, which is a major advantage, because if I'm a student and I'm having to read this in English, but my parent is a Spanish speaker natively, they can listen to the content and assist me with my homework as well. So it's not only how does it benefit the student exactly, but also you're involving the parent in the work. The next implementation I would like to show you is EBSCO. EBSCO is one of the world's largest aggregators of periodical content. They're probably in every single library in the United States and in most of the world, if they have a budget to where they're actually purchasing periodicals online. We worked with EBSCO, and because they have a very large international population, especially in the English-speaking world, they asked that we build a player for them that represented having an American accent, an Australian accent, and a British accent. So the end user has the ability to choose which of those they would like to listen to. And as an end user, I click here, and then very quickly it will start playing.
Childhood obesity prevention, new lessons from an old policy. Section. Research and practice.
The interesting piece with the folks at EBSCO is a large percentage of the population who use this database are in the academic market. People would often think that text-to-speech fits very well into what Discovery is doing in elementary school, but we've seen that EBSCO has a very high percentage of use, as well as, interestingly enough, even their very, very long articles, up to 32 pages, has a very high instances of being listened to as well. You'll also notice here that I, as an end user, have the ability to download this document as an MP3, and what I would also have you notice here is that we're able to carry over the metadata with inside that article. So if I download this article into my MP3 device, I can very easily find this article so that when I'm at the gym, when I'm on the bus, when I'm in some type of transportation that might not lend to having online access, I can listen to this content as well. So that's the EBSCO implementation. The next implementation that I would like to show you is the Gale implementation. And it's in many ways very similar to the EBSCO implementation. They're in a very similar market. They are also in probably most every single library in the United States and most libraries around the world. What they have done is slightly different. They have their listen button in their area over here, and I could click listen and that would read just like it did in the EBSCO piece. But what they've done is they've taken the reading aspect of ReadSpeaker to a different level. If I was an end user and I wanted to hear this article in Spanish, I can translate this article. The article is now being translated, and you'll see that the ReadSpeaker feature actually follows the translation. ReadSpeaker is not doing the translation. All we are doing, the translation is being done by a company called Sistran. It would make a difference who's doing it, but now the end user has the ability to click on
¿Cuáles son estudios actuales que nos enseñan sobre la luna y formación de ese?
listen button and
Nuestras opiniones del temprano luna y la Tierra se ha revisado totalmente durante el último año con nuevos datos e ideas sobre.
Again, the ReadSpeaker reading is only going to be to the quality that the translation is, but we found that many end users have found this to be a great benefit, the fact that I can translate an article and then listen to it. So that has been very helpful. The other piece that Gale has done, which I think is very interesting, is the fact that this database is filled not only with English articles, but with non-English articles as well. So if I type in and I select my publication language as French, I can hit search. it's searching through the database and it's only pulling up French articles. So if I click here, this is an article from a French publication. What's really nice is the ReadSpeaker service, working along with the Gale Technology Group, have been able to pass over the language code so that we know this is a French article. As an end user, I just click listen.
Violence, limited. Le trait du désastre, le triomphe, la gloire ne lui sont pas opposés, ils ne lui appartiennent pas non plus, malgré le lieu commun.
So we're able to read, the end user is seamlessly has the ability to listen to that article in French. There's no other work they have to do. And all this is happening behind the scenes. And as Roy mentioned earlier, there are thousands and thousands of articles in both the EBSCO and the Gale databases that are being added on a daily basis. And all these are immediately available for listening by the end user. The next one I would like to show you is the MindTap platform, which is produced by Cengage Learning, which is the parent company of Gale. This is one of the larger e-textbook platforms in the world. They are right now working to digitize all of their textbooks, but as they did research about the types of features and functionalities that kids and students would like to use, they determined that text-to-speech was probably one of the most popular, and that has proven to be true in the statistics that we were getting from the use of text-to-speech within inside the MindTap platform. The way that Cengage has aligned this is they've given the students a couple of different options. Number one, the student can click here on this listen icon, and this will read.
Neutrals. Between patriots and loyalists, there remain in the middle perhaps 2/5 of the European American population. Some, like the Quakers.
This will actually read the entire article or the entire chapter in the book for the end user. I don't have time to show you, but as the page moves on, the actual reading will continue as the page moves on, because here we're only looking at maybe 1,000 words. So when the reading gets to the end of this page, the page would move on and the reading would continue. They also decided that maybe a student did not want to listen to all of that, so they embedded it directly with inside their all the other features that they have. So here a student can actually choose if they want to have the different speeds, the different voices that they would like to choose, which is also available in the Cengage and the EBSCO piece. But here I can highlight again, and I can actually read the text as well, but it's completely and totally integrated into the other tools that EBSCO, or excuse me, that Cengage is providing to their end users. So it's a very seamless integration that allows for customization and to meet how the product owner wants to present their content to the end user. The next piece I would like to show you is from our friends at SoftChalk. SoftChalk is an authoring tool that allows schools or any type of individual publishing content to be able to publish content in a unified way that's very standardized. And what we've been able to do, because that content is unified and standardized, is if I have a SoftChalk authoring tool, I have the ability just to flip on the text-to-speech service by ReadSpeaker in a very simple, it probably takes 2 minutes to turn this on. This is customizable, but here the institution is using this, has decided to put the listen button here in this location. And so once I've published my content, all I have to do is click listen as an end user.
Jeff3.jpg. Thomas Jefferson considered the Declaration of Independence his greatest achievement. Drafted in June of 1776, the Declaration.
So you'll see here, this is where I'm not working for a publisher, but I'm creating my own content, but I'm very simply and easily able to add ReadSpeaker text-to-speech service to that content, really showing how all the benefits that Roy talked about earlier I can give to my students as well. The other big piece here, and I want to go back to it very quickly, that Roy mentioned, is the customization of pronunciation which we can do a great deal with. The last piece that I would like to touch on is Cicero Kids. So not only is text-to-speech very helpful, most of the things I've focused on in my presentation so far have had to do with either academic or college or even high school content. Cicero Kids is a K through 3 database, K through 8 maybe, in U.S. history. And here they have a nice listen button. And again, they've experienced great usage with the feature. And again, the user just clicks listen.
A new nation. Loyalists and patriots. Guided reading. The British king began taxing the American colonies after the French and Indian War. He hoped tax money would make up for the money he...
So just to conclude, a couple of things that I want you to notice about what I've just presented is all the different ways that ReadSpeaker can be implemented within inside your user environment. And it is very easy to implement, is highly customizable. The quality of the voice, the ReadSpeaker does not create any latency within inside your environment because it's only sitting there until the end user selects listen, does the is there a connection with our server. So it makes it very easy for publishers, for schools to implement the ReadSpeaker service, and you get all those great benefits that Roy has mentioned earlier on in the presentation. We can show you these types of implementations in webinars if you would like, but I encourage you to review the webinar for how we have presented these to you. Roy, would you like to take it over now?
Great. Thanks, Tim. Thanks a lot for presenting this these different demos, which clearly show the benefits of adding a layer of speech to your online learning content, and you can really see from these presentations that Tim did how easy it is to add speech to the different areas of your online content, and very different types of also publishers, schools, universities, different learning levels as well. I'd encourage you, if you want to learn more about how you want to add ReadSpeaker to your online content, please feel free to send us a mail at info@readspeaker.com, and we'll be putting up this webinar on our website as well, and sending it to those who are interested in getting a recorded version of it. So thank you very much for your time, and we hope to talk to you very soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.